you just want to go ahead and unmute yourself and then just kind of share a little bit about your story, tell us who you are, and we'll go ahead and get started from there.
Yeah, for sure. So really funny thing, real quick, is I just redid my dream board and I was telling people I wrote down on there and I was like, I want to number one be known by corporate. I want to be asked to like lead Zooms. I want to be inspirational to others and maybe just give people hope or whatever. And so you're the first person that asked me, and I was like, this is coming true. It's happening.
I
Um,
actually remember you telling me that, and I was like, I don't know if this is like weird, but like I'm gonna help her make a dream come true. I was like, I'm gonna
No,
ask her to
it's
do it
so
too.
helpful. And I texted Cami and I was like, I just want to let you know, like we've met before, but I'm going to be on stage with you and I think I can bring value. And, I've been in this business long enough or whatever. But anyway, so yes, it is definitely coming true because I'm really excited. So hopefully I can help someone. So yes, I am Macy, and it's funny because I've been in this business 5 years and some people are like, oh, I've never heard of you before. And that's where I'm trying to change it because I've been in this 5 years. So I joined this business when I was 19 and I was in college. So typical broke college student story, not really anything different, but I do have to say, like, I kind of grew up in the struggle and I kind of use that as my story because like my mom was always broke. We went through foreclosure. My mom was never good with money. She had so many credit cards, and like, she's literally the person who will have credit cards and then never pay them and just like act like they don't exist. So she's in so much credit card debt. And so we got foreclosed on our house. So like I went through all those things at a very young age. So struggle was always kind of just something I was used to. And I just knew from then on out, I was like, I never want to struggle. I hate being broke. It's not fun. And so when I was 19 years old, I was already trying the products because my skin was so bad. Believe it or not, I literally had cystic acne. And so I was trying the facial products and I was like, oh my gosh, I love these. Well, I saw Morgan Morton, and I don't know, y'all probably all know who Morgan Morton McIntyre is. And so I watched her story and I was like, okay, this girl's talking about how she's like not so broke anymore being in college, and I just need that. And so I just joined for an extra $100. Honestly, didn't really believe that I could actually do it. I had little self-confidence. And so I joined when I was 19. I'm going to be honest, did not take it seriously my first year. And that's something I regret, but honestly, it's a part of my story. So that's why I'm saying I hope I can be a light to someone, but I did not take it seriously. Made extra 100 like every month. Just for gas money. And I was like, okay, yeah, this is cool. Not really taking it seriously. It was like going out, hanging out with all my friends, didn't really care that much. And then finally like a year hit and Morgan had just earned like a huge diamond bonus. And I was like, okay, what am I doing sitting here? I'm just wasting time. And so I was like, okay, I'm finally going to dig my heels in and go for it. Well, a year, like seriously, 1 month after my year anniversary, I went executive. I was like, okay, this is kind of fun. And then after that, I told Morgan, I was like, I just want to like do this. Like, I love this business. I just want to take it seriously. And so 6 months after that, I promoted to Ruby. So yes, it took me a year and a half to go Ruby. So if you were been in here longer than a year, maybe you've been in here 6 months and you're like, I've never promoted a day in my life. Okay, we'll just wait because you'll hear my story and it'll give you hope. So took me a year and a half to go Ruby. And then 2 months, just 2 months after that, I went diamond. Well, obviously the struggle isn't over with because I was like, oh, this is great. Well, when I went diamond, I was really stupid. And I was like, just had this mindset of, okay, now I don't really have to work. Well, joke's on me. So I lost rank probably really quickly after that. I would say I only held diamond for like 4 months. And it was simply because I did not do anything after that. I was like, oh, I'm cool, I'm coasting. Well, I lost it and I was like, oh my gosh, crap. And so I struggled for about a year to get that back, honestly, because just life was happening. I had basically everybody quit my team. But again, it had to do with me. It wasn't necessarily the business. I just know that I needed to change because I was really selfish. I was like, money, money, money. I don't really care about helping people, things like that. So you live and you learn, but I'm not that person anymore. So anyways, and then a year after that, I'd maintained diamond for 2 years. And then I went double last year. And immediately when I went double, I earned like the $15,000 bonus and I paid off my car. And that's when I was like, oh my gosh, okay, for real, like I'm taking this seriously again. Was not super smart with my money. I'm someone who's been smart as far as like saving and stuff. So I've been able to pay off debt, but as far as like giving back and truly caring for others has never been a part of my like whole story. And that's kind of where I just needed a whole mind shift. So I went double again, lost that, like 3 months after, and I was like, what the crap? Well, I didn't realize that the whole time I had been praying for God to just like help me maintain diamond. And so ever since then, I've been able to maintain diamond. Well, anyways, I got double back, maintained double for a full year, and then I went triple in May. I went triple in May, and just gonna be honest again, lost triple. Okay, so I'm like someone who's been all over the place, and if you know Shay will tell you a million times she's lost like rank a million times. But in these seasons, I've never once lost hope. I've never been like, I hate this business. It's always been like, okay, what can I learn from the situation? So anyways, that's kind of my story with like the ranks. So since then, I've been able to pay off my car, paid off, it started off with me paying off 2 semesters of college in cash, and now I'm officially debt free. I paid off all my debt in August. Yeah, in August. I graduated in December from college, thought I was having like this amazing career, started a new job in January, turned out hating it. And so in August, I was like, I'm just going to do this full time. Like I'm already triple, like what the freak am I doing? And so paid off all my school debt in August. I'm officially debt free. And honestly, we're shooting for presidential. We're pretty far away, but I do have to say that we've been blessed more financially this year, last year, the year before than I could have ever imagined. And so that will kind of tie into what I talk about tonight, but that's kind of my story as far as like ranks and stuff. And I'm engaged, dog mom over here, 24 years old, planning my dream wedding now, and I don't struggle anymore. And that was like the main thing. So it's been pretty incredible. So sorry that was all over the place, but thought I had to make those topics.
No, that was perfect. I love that. And like I put in the chat, like, thank you for being so vulnerable. Cause like that was exactly what I wanted to hear. Because I mean, I know it's nothing a lot of people want to talk about, but like you guys, we all lose rank. Like it sucks. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you, but like it happens. Okay. And like that was one thing that I just wanted Macy to touch on, because like it used to be like when that would happen to me, I'm like, oh my gosh, this business sucks. And I would have that like such like victim mindset. And then like now it's like, okay, what am I going to learn from this? And it took me a while to like realize that, but I just love that you shared that, because that's exactly how I feel. It's like, obviously, yeah, it's not the best feeling in the world, but like I know that there's growth coming out of it. Like that's just like so good. So I love that you said that. So some of the questions that I was going to ask you, I know I obviously sent you these earlier, but this just basically talking about like how you were working full time and then you decided to take the business full time, and just kind of like your journey throughout that, I guess. But I think you like retired yourself in August, right? Or am I lying?
Yeah, no. That's like officially when I was like, screw this. I just paid, so much money for my degree, and I'm using it because it's marketing and business, but just not using it in the way that I thought. But yeah, I retired myself in August.
Okay, cool. I love that. So since it feels like August wasn't that long ago, but
I know.
that's weird. Okay, I was like, since that was like last month, and I'm like, wait, it's it's November. That's fine. But since it is still like quote unquote new, I just kind of want you to talk about like I know these are like 3 different questions in one, but just kind of all of this, but basically like tips for working this business with another job, why you made the decision that you wanted to do this full time, and then tips for working this full time. And you can answer that however you want, but just kind of talk about all of that in a nutshell.
Yeah. So if some of my team is on here, I told them super last minute, so I do apologize about that. But one thing they probably know about me, if you've talked to me a million times, is I don't love excuses. Like people irritate me with excuses, and I'm really red, I'm really yellow, and I'm really blue. So I really empathize with people and I try to understand, but at the same time, I'm like, absolutely not. Because I joined this business, so I backtrack. I didn't go into full detail. I joined this business when I was 19, but in that time, I was a full-time college athlete. So, and we had to take 19 hours of school. So I went from school because we had to take the earliest classes. I went to school at 6:30, ended at 12. Then we had practice at 1, and I had it all the way to 4:30. And so like after that, then we would have to do schoolwork and we would travel. And so number one, I was a really busy college student. Our coach literally told us, you cannot have a job. And I was like, but you don't understand. My family can't even lend me $20. I am so broke. Like I can't get loans. Like I'm getting paid to go to college. So it just doesn't work out that way. And so it was just a struggle. And so that's number one. Like if you're a college student, I was in college the full time. I went to college for 5 years. Like that's not an excuse. So on top of that, I was a bartender, and I bartended probably about 4 days a week. And it was never a sense of like, I never made enough to quit. It was kind of the mindset of like, I'm too scared to step out on a leap of faith and just do this business. But I also loved bartending. Like I loved connecting, and I'd always had this vision that I wanted a second job. Don't know why, because now I look back, I'm like, no. But anyways, so when people say that they're busy, it drives me crazy, because I would get up with my job. I started my job in January, and I would get up at about 6 o'clock, and I would be going and going and going until 5:30. And it was like sales, it was like outside sales. So if anybody's in sales, you know that it's more of like a 24 hour, and not 24 hour, I don't want to say that, but it is more of like a, not just an 8 to 5. You think about it, you talk about it, you prospect, you do all these things. And so I was exhausted. I'm not even going to lie, but I didn't know that I had to sacrifice it. And during this, I went triple diamond. So what I personally did was time management. And it's something I've always struggled with as far as like really structuring my time. But I have a calendar, and I got it back in January, and it was color coded. And so I specifically had time blocks to where I knew what I was going to do. So I would get up, I would do personal development for like 15 minutes, because that's something that you should always do and incorporate in your business. And then that would be about 6:30. And so about 6:45, I would switch immediately to doing a power hour. I had an accountability partner in this business who did that with me. Accountability partners have never worked for me, but she was kind of going through the same things as I was. And so we were trying kind of transitioning. So we were like, we think this would be a good idea. And it worked really freaking well. Like up until I quit, like we had that set schedule. So I would wake up at 6:30, and I knew what time I needed to go to bed, so I wouldn't stay up past a certain time. So say I would go to bed at like 11, because I didn't want to wake up exhausted. So anyway, so I woke up in the morning, and then after that power hour was done, I was done with It Works for a second, because I had to do my other job throughout the day. Well, when I had a lunch break, that's when I would message back to all my messages that I had sent that morning. And one tip I have for you, and maybe you don't have like a big team yet, but if you do have people under you, don't respond to people on your team. And this is what I did. If it doesn't work for you, that's okay, but don't respond to your team. Don't respond to what they need until you're done with your task, because at the end of the day, you're going to get off of work and you're going to feel overwhelmed, and you're going to be like, where did my time go? I didn't even get my KPI listed. I didn't even get my host to post up. And all you did was answer back to your team. I have a huge team now, so obviously like I have specific times for that, but make sure you're taking care of yourself first. So that's why I always say personal development. I wouldn't look at my phone. All I would do is turn off the alarm. And you guys, this is coming from someone who is not a morning person. I always tell my team this: if you use the excuse that you're not a morning person, I promise you, you can become one. And even if it's just backtracking to like 15 minutes before, what I had to do is I had to build up like kind of the momentum for me to be a morning person. Because when I was in college, I would literally be late to my 11:15 p.m. or no a.m. class, because I would oversleep. And so I couldn't ever use the excuse to my professors like, oh, sorry, I overslept, because I knew they would look at me crazy and be like, it's 11 o'clock. Like, how did you oversleep? So this is coming from someone that seriously was never a morning person, and I kind of had to train myself. And now I love getting up in the mornings to be productive, because it makes me feel more productive. So that's kind of like just time blocking. Yeah.
Okay, so I am also not a morning person. I did the whole, I know like I know Mariah's on here, and we used to wake up at like 5 a.m. together. And it was
Yeah, I
so
thought that one
hard.
time, and I was like, this is stupid. This is too early. Like, I don't
Yeah,
need to be.
like it was so hard. So like oh, I forgot. I was like, wait, I forgot it. Like, how did you like train yourself to become a morning person? Because like I get up fairly early, and I definitely do give myself grace on certain days, but like how did you just like become a morning person? Like, was it just like your morning routine that just kind of like excited you, or what?
Yeah, I had to listen to Miracle Morning, because it kind of, and people talk about that in this business. They talk about it. They talked about it in my sales job. They were like, I recommend this to how to start your morning off great. And it's basically how to consistently get in a morning routine. And so that's kind of, and I know this sounds really weird, and my team knows that I'm all about affirmations. Like, I kid you not, affirmations is my thing. Like, if y'all, I'll turn around. I have sticky notes all above my desk. Like, affirmations are literally my ish. And so I would seriously say to bed, and this is what they say in Miracle Morning, but I would just be like, I'm energized and ready to go in the morning. I'm excited. I don't know what it is. And y'all, I can't even make this up, but every single time I do that, and then I wake up in the morning, I'm refreshed. And so that's kind of what the book had talked about, is affirmations, just saying, I'm excited. Because if you go to bed and you're like, I am just so tired, man, I hate getting up in the morning. Well, that's going to lean into your mood in the morning. And believe it or not, like, affirmations literally will save your life. So start doing that. But Miracle Morning was definitely, what helped me, and just kind of getting into morning routine. Another thing, especially if you're not a morning person, what I had to do, especially when I was really, really busy, is set my like coffee out in the morning. So I would have my coffee mug, I would have my coffee packet ready to go. I would already either have it open or have the scissors beside it, because you know our coffee packets are really hard to open. So I would always be prepared to do something like that. Like, I would have this mindset, I would have my clothes out. So if you're super, super busy, you can make time blocks, and you can make things that are easier on you. So like, you know, you're going to straighten your hair in the morning, set out the freaking straightener, and it tells you. And one thing I had to do was start setting the alarm clock across the room. And I was on a Zoom today, and I was like, y'all, I've been sleeping until 7, and 7 is not late. 7 is not late at all. But I was like, man, I honestly still feel like I need to get up at 6:30. I was like, I'm going to start setting my alarm clock across the room again, because it always helps me, and it just makes you get up. So, and they always tell you to chug a bottle of water, because that hydrates you, because when you're dehydrated, you're more tired. I started doing that in the morning. Really weird. Again, it really does help if you find yourself as not a morning person. So that's kind of what I saw.
Chugging this water at night or once you wake up?
No. I would have it, tells you step by step what to do. In the book, it says, hey, leave a water bottle out by your bed and chug that as soon as you get up in the morning. Brush your teeth as soon as you get up in the morning, because that trains your mind to think that you're already ready to go. You have to listen to it. It's on YouTube, so you don't have to go out and buy it, because if I can find a book on YouTube for free, sorry if this is illegal, I do it. Yeah.
I've literally had this book for months. It's sitting on my bookshelf just waiting for me to open it. It's called Miracle Morning. It's
Mm-hmm.
on freaking YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I
Yeah,
wasted
I
so
never
much
bought it.
time. I'm actually kind of upset about that. Anyways, that's fine. Definitely gonna
That one,
listen to
and
it.
You Are a Badasser on YouTube.
Interesting. Okay, yeah, literally, Michaela, going to YouTube right after this Zoom. Seriously, I've never thought about doing that. I know we're totally getting off topic, but that just honestly kind of shocked me. But that's
Yeah.
so crazy. Okay.
I always go to YouTube before I go buy a book. I'm just cheap though, so like I could have $1,000,000, and you best believe I'm still gonna thrift shop and do all these like cheap things. So
No, girl, I feel that. I literally still eat Lunchables for breakfast, lunch,
yeah,
and dinner. It's fine.
it's
That's so
okay.
funny.
I know that your next question, I do have your questions right here. Did you just want me to dive deep into why did I make the decision to quit my job?
Yeah, just kind of go all about that. Like, I didn't have a particular order, just kind of like lead us all into all of those.
Yeah, that's totally fine. If y'all have any questions for me, I'll keep the chat open. So if y'all have any questions, let me know. But basically what I found is, again, I took the job, and I say these things in pure honesty. I took the job in January because the pay was obviously really good. And I was just like, you know, if It Works paycheck ever goes down, again, not in the right mindset I should have been, because now that I realized I should have taken that leap of faith a long time ago. But I was always used to making so much money with my bartending job. So I was like, you know, if I don't have something to fall back on or whatever it might be, it was something stupid. And now I've been a full year or no, not a full year. Well, I didn't get paid for my other job because of COVID for a really long time. So I actually did lean on It Works income for a very long time, and completely okay. But I found that I, number one, didn't love the 8 to 5 job. So it's kind of weird. I think this whole year has just been kind of weird. So I hate to say that, but it is true. And I think it's had people think differently. I think it's had people realize things that they do want, what they don't want. And I think that definitely the job, not saying that I took my own step and just like made a decision quickly, but I think that I had said so long that I wanted a second job and I wanted these things. And I'm sorry, I'm really spiritual, so I'll bring out God, but I don't think that he necessarily had it in store for me to actually get this job. And I did it anyways and jumped the gun on it. And I think this whole time he was like, if you just take this leap of faith and just not, just work it works, I will supply you with so much more. And so I kind of had to do like a lesson learned, but I was really unhappy with the 8 to 5 job. And then my business was growing so much. I went triple diamond. And as soon as I went triple diamond, that was when I was like, why am I working myself to death when I have a full team to support over here? Like, I love what I do with It Works. And It Works is so fun, you guys. If you haven't realized that by now, it's fun. You get to make your own hours. And if you're self-disciplined, it's obviously easier to do. But I think just during that time, I realized how unhappy I was with just the normal things that maybe society tells you that you have to sit here and do this to do this. And I kind of wanted to fit in or whatever it might be. So I had all these lies that I was telling myself. And when I went triple, that's kind of when everything went downhill. And I was just like, and the funny thing is nothing was wrong with this job. So I'd actually, produced a magazine here, and it was a really high-end magazine, making good money, really successful here. I still have people message me to this day asking to be in the magazine, things like that. So it was really well. It was just kind of my time to leave. So that's what I found, is really more of just unhappiness, but also I think it really made me open my eyes to the opportunity that we have with It Works, because so many people, and y'all might know this or y'all might be a part of this, so many people have lost their jobs this year. And I think that they realize, and even my fiance, he's a physical therapist, he got furloughed, which just means, if you don't know what that means, it just means that you're not fired or anything, but you are let go for the time being until they bring on staff or until they can get caught back up or whatever it might be. He was furloughed for 2 months, and he was in the medical field. And when that happened, and that was back in March, I literally was like, oh my gosh, we have such an amazing opportunity at our hands. And that's kind of when I really ran with it. And that's when I was like, all these people are going to want a work from home position. All these people are going to realize that they love to stay at home with their family. And all these things. And so that's when my business really started booming, and we went triple. And I was like, I think this is like the time. I think this is the time for me to just let everything go, step out on a leap of faith. And I could have been fine years ago. I think it's just me being scared. And so if you are scared to maybe take that leap of faith, I'm telling you, do it, because he's going to bless you in so many different ways. If you're someone who still wants to keep your job, that's A-okay too. But that's kind of, I don't know. Hopefully that helps. I seem to just ramble sometimes, but
No, yeah, I love that. I think that was like super, super good. And I like what you just said about how you kind of had to like teach yourself a lesson, and like you're like nothing was wrong with the job, but like it was just like a different type of feeling. Cause I mean, there was like a point in my business where like I was triple diamond maintaining diamond, and I was like, okay, it's like like holy crap. And it was this time last year, and I literally started applying to jobs, and like this comes from such not an egotistical thing to say. I don't get not hired for jobs. Like if I ever applied for a job, I always got it growing up. And I literally got like, I guess denied, I guess that's the right word. I got like denied for like 4 jobs this time last year. And I was like, literally, what the heck is wrong? Cause like these were not no like big end jobs or anything. These were just like basic things. And I kept saying no. And I was like, what the heck? And I called Shay, and I was like, dude, like, I don't know what's wrong. And she was like, maybe you should like work your business. And I'm like, because I was like, I'm a triple diamond, Shay, okay. But it was like, literally, it was like, that's probably right, because at that time like I really wasn't working as nearly as hard as I could or had before. But like I just love that you said that, because it literally was just that leap of faith. And like it's hard, but
it's
like
hard. It's real hard.
like literally just the Lord blesses you tenfold once you just like take that like step in like the right direction. It's just like absolutely unreal. But I love that you said that. I think that was like super, super good. Okay, so one, if you guys don't follow Macy on social media, go follow her right now, or follow her right now. But this girl is so freaking good at TikTok. And this is literally, I've never done a Zoom over TikTok because I am just not the TikTok person, but I'm trying to be better at it. And I seriously go to Macy every time I have a TikTok question. So I just want you to share all things TikTok. I mean, it doesn't even have to be like quote unquote business related, because I know that you need to post like personal stuff on TikTok too. But I just kind of want you to go into like all things TikTok.
Yeah, so I'll kind of tie into this, and it's kind of a realization that I had with myself, and I think that's when it opened all new doors. So I did not like I don't know when TikTok actually became a thing. I'm going to be honest. I remember doing a TikTok with like our wedding party that we had last year. And I was like, what even is this? And then during the pandemic, like I heard my leader, Morgan, I heard her say it over and over and over again. And I was like, I don't want to add anything else to my plate. No. And obviously I didn't tell her that, but just coming from like someone just that was busy, I was like, I don't want to add something else to my plate. This sounds terrible. And in reality, doesn't take that much time. I'll tell y'all what I do for that. And it's probably the same exact thing Shay does. But I was like, no, I refused to do it for the longest time. And finally I was like, okay, well, I'm not signing distributors like I need to and want to. I need to do something different. What's everybody doing? And everybody was like, TikTok. And I was like, does this mean I actually have to get one? They're like, yes. And I was like, okay. And I have to lead my team by example. So you obviously need to be coachable so you can lead your team. And so I got TikTok, and it was back in like probably July that I got it. And I just did it like here and there. I did it like once a week, and it didn't really give me anything, didn't really get much off of it. Just because number one, I just did things just to kind of throw up there just to say I did it. I didn't actually dive deep. I didn't actually interact or do the things that I do now. So anyways, when it really blew up for me was probably not even a month ago. And it was just a simple TikTok. I copied it from like Tessie Morgan, or just not Tessie Morgan. Oh my gosh. I don't know why I just said Morgan, Tessie Carter. And it was just her sound. I didn't actually use her movement. I was like, this is a cute sound. And I just did it. And then it went viral within that night. And I was like, okay. So I don't think necessarily I did anything different. I think it was more of me being so patient and trusting God's timing. I don't think I could have handled it getting all the applications and all the people requesting in my inbox when I was working my full-time job like I was, because I wasn't even handling the Triple Diamond team that I had then. And so I think it was more of just timing. And so if you're someone that's like, I'm just waiting for mine to blow up, I'm just waiting for mine to blow up, okay, but keep doing it, because I promise you there's going to be a certain time in your business when one person will look at like a really old video of yours and then it's going to blow up or whatever. And they always tell you on TikTok, sometimes it takes like a long time for just one video that you posted forever ago to blow up, but it's going to happen. And I think you just have to stay persistent. And so what I found during that time, is that number one, I was being myself in that video, and that kind of like trickled down to me thinking, what am I doing? Like, what do I need to do differently in order to go presidential, in order to maintain triple, and in order to just make the most money I've ever made, but also give back and be able to duplicate my team. And so I finally dived deep, and one day, I don't know what it was. I have no clue. I think maybe someone messaged me and they're like, I just want to thank you for being so raw and real and vulnerable. And I think maybe it was after like a Zoom that we did, and they're like, be real, be yourself, like be super raw. And I was like, but if I go too deep, it's going to be too deep because I've been through some crap when I was younger. And that was the night I was like, oh my gosh, I have been trying to be someone else for so long. I've been trying to be Cheyenne Knox. I've been trying to be Morgan Martin. Number one, I'm wore out. My Instagram does not look like theirs. And so I'm getting frustrated that I can't make mine look like theirs. Number two, I don't have the same story as them, but I'm trying to make mine the same story. And so I like kind of dove deep into myself, and I was like, I have value to freaking add. Why am I not using this? And why am I not confident in myself? I went triple diamond, like my team went triple diamond. I should be confident by now. And so I finally kind of got fed up with myself and had like a self-talk. And I was like, get real with yourself and get raw. So I kind of got really raw with the post one night. And I think it was on my story, and it was just saying like, hey you guys, coming from someone who either had to pick between gas and groceries, my mom could never afford groceries, so there were days I didn't eat. We had lights and water cut off. I remember calling my friends all the time asking if I could take showers at their house, and they would just get so used to it, they'd be like, yeah, come on, instead of just being like, hey, what do you need this time? They're like, do you need to take a shower? And I'm like, yes. My mom can't pay the bills. Yes. And so I got really, really raw. And ever since that moment, and it was only like a month and a half ago, but ever since that moment, it's like, oh my gosh. And so after that one post, people messaged me immediately after that, and they're like, your story, I relate to it. Let me sign up right now because I'm tired of feeling the way that you felt in that post or whatever. And I was like, oh my gosh, okay, someone actually connected with me. So since then, I've been so real and so raw and so vulnerable, and I translated that to TikTok. And so obviously I have fun. I like to dance and stuff like that. But ever since that video went viral, people started looking at all my old videos, and that started building back up on itself. So even when had no clue what I was doing, my makeup looked terrible and all these other things, like whatever, people comment, they're like, oh, I'm interested in what you do. And so what I typically do is I took this tip from Cheyenne or Kristen, I can't remember. I do TikToks on Monday and I just record 15 and I do 3 different outfits. And so I do 3 a piece. Wait, no, that doesn't make sense. Whatever math that is. I don't freaking know. 5. Yeah, 5 different, I don't freaking know. Anyways, I'm really bad with math. That is like not my strong suit at all. My fiance and I talk about that all the time. Anyways, so I do different TikToks and I do different dances, and sometimes, and okay, goes backtrack too. If you haven't branded yourself and trying to find something that you're really good at, I would really start there. And that's kind of what I started with. And I realized that I'd always wanted to empower people and make people feel encouraged and make people feel positive and make people feel good. And people had always told me here and there, they're like, your posts are so positive. I'm so thankful. Like, I'm so glad I saw this today. And so I kind of like that night I clicked with it and I was like, what do I want to brand myself with? And so honestly, I really started praying over for me to find my purpose, because I did feel lost, because I did feel like I was trying to be someone for so long. So I was kind of in this imposter syndrome. And that's kind of when it all changed. And so I told myself ever since then, I was like, my brand is going to be that I'm positive and that I'm encouraging and that I'm uplifting. And I kid you not, I probably get about 3 messages a day saying, I love your videos. You're just so positive and you're so encouraging and you're so uplifting and you're empowering other people or whatever. So they're following me, maybe not necessarily for the business, but as soon as they see my business post, because I'm very consistent in posting every single day, then they're interested because they see how positive I am. And then I'm sharing the story about how this business has changed me into a more positive person. And then they're interested. So maybe if you don't have like a brand for yourself, and I've always heard Morgan and Shay and all of them tell us about that. It just never clicked. It just never freaking clicked with me. You know how you have to hear something a billion times until it actually clicks? Well, that was me. And I was like, what is my brand? What is my brand? What is my brand? Morgan's really good at health. Shay's really freaking good at just fashion and just being just like a light to people. People follow her just because she's pretty or whatever it is. She has her own brand too. And so finally I just did that and I realized that was my brand. And so since then I've been running with it and it has benefited me in so many ways. So what I do is I do it like about 1 business, or maybe I'll do 2 business TikToks a day. And then the other ones I'll do like a positive uplifting one. Sometimes I'll do like funny ones, like voice memos or whatever it might be. But for the most part, I'll be like, hey friend, just letting you know that you've got this today. You are positive, you're up, like you are just beautiful. You need to know that because you're worthy. Or like, I'll say all those things and I get a lot of feedback on those. And right now, I don't know if maybe my TikTok shadow banned. So if you go on mine right now, I actually have a lot of low views compared to what I typically do, but I'm still getting messages every day. So I know that it's coming across people. But what I typically do is about 3 TikToks a day and I'll do them at night. But what I've started doing is doing like 6 throughout the day. And that's because I do have more time on my hands now that I've quit my job. But Cheyenne actually gave us that tip and she said it's been working really well for her. And so I just started shifting over to about 6 a day. I have not been consistent with it at all, but it's something I wanted to start doing. And what I do is set a timer for about 10 minutes and I interact. So I interact with people that I follow and I interact with the For You page that pops up and I comment, I like, and I say something really nice. And then they go follow you. And then that builds your algorithm. That builds like people following you and going to look at your videos because you gave them love and things like that. So that's what I've found that works. So if you haven't branded yourself, that would be the number one thing. And then just saying affirmations over what you want for that to happen. That's just like, that's literally a part of my life. I have this journal and I just got it like 2 months ago and it has so many pages in it and it's nothing but filled with like affirmations and I have like 3 pages left. And so affirmations are just a huge part of my life and my team knows that. So they probably get tired of me hearing that, but I'm like, affirmations have changed everything for me. And you saying them out loud is so much different than you just saying them in your head. So hopefully that helps. If y'all have any questions about TikTok, let me know. Again,
Yeah, I love that. And I love what you said just about like interacting on TikTok. So I remember that was one thing that you had told me and I was like, okay, like I've literally never thought to do that, but let's try it. And literally within like 2 or 3 days, my followers on TikTok had grown like 50 to 75 like new people, which like for me, that's a lot. And like I still only have like 200 followers, but like it literally started growing just because I was interacting on different people's and like just that alone was working so well. So I love that so much. But yeah, I'm still waiting for my TikTok to blow up. It was crazy because the other day I had one that I posted like a while ago that started getting more views. And I was like, okay, I was like, maybe this is it.
Yeah, and one thing I have to add to that, and it was something that I learn a lot from Morgan and Shay, like both of them. Like I wouldn't say like I idolize them or anything, but they are definitely like people that I go to for like questions, and they give me tips and advice and stuff. And so I learn a lot from them. And one thing that they had mentioned was, Morgan had said this, she was like, I would rather have 200 loyal followers than 16 million non-active followers. And so you can't get too caught up on the followers part, because on Instagram, I'll lose and gain followers all day. I still don't understand why I do. Like, I don't know, but it's really weird. But I do know the ones that are staying are loyal, and those are the ones that are seeing your stuff over and over again. So on TikTok, don't get too caught up in the followers. Just be consistent in what you're doing and brand yourself and be excited. And I promise you it will come. It might be next year, but being patient and being like faithful that it's going to happen for you, it'll happen for you. And another thing that I personally do on TikTok is I'll like always send them to my Instagram. And that's something that has worked completely different for me than just saying fill out my influencer application. That's where you can grow your Instagram. You've probably heard a lot of people say that, but that's what I do now. And so they always follow me on Instagram. And then when I'm doing like an encouraging video, I'm always like, hey, let's be friends on Instagram. Add me on Instagram, and I'll say what you gain when you're following me and I follow you back is encouragement, positivity, empowerment, and I will tell you that you are worthy every single day. And so I just had a girl literally just say, hey, I just followed you on that video. So like, again, brand yourself and let people know, hey, my Instagram is open. And that's kind of what's been working really well.
Yeah, I love that. That's super, super smart. Okay, so this is just the last question I have for you tonight. And like she said, if you guys have any questions, I have the chat open too. So if you guys have anything you want to ask, just throw it in there. But basically just my last question is just anything else that you'd like to share, just like any tips or something that you have on your heart, just whatever you feel like sharing with us.
Yeah. So I know, okay, so number one, comparison. You can see a lot of people in this business, and I know for me, I got caught up on for so long looking at people who promoted within like 2 months or 3 months and 5 months, and coming from someone who's been in this business 5 years. And I'm not going to say is only a triple diamond, because triple diamond is something I've always prayed over, and I'm thankful I'm here. But most people would be like, man, you should be ambassador by now, you should be presidential, or whatever it might be. And so coming from someone who has had a longer journey, don't give up on yourself. And you owe yourself to not give up on whatever it is that you dream that you want, because whether it takes you 12 years or whether it takes you 5 days, still know that that's going to benefit you one way, shape, or form. Because say you never make $1 in this business, which I don't speak that over anybody, because if you're working, you're going to make $1, but you're still going to grow other areas in your life. For me personally, I mean, I told my team this yesterday, because I led 2 Zooms back to back, and I told them, I was like, I literally had someone walk up to me this weekend, and it was a realization that I was like proud of myself of, though. They came up to me out of nowhere, and they said, I used to not like you. Like the first time I met you, you just were so mean and negative, and I just didn't like you. And I was like, that hit hard. But it kind of like, it just made me think. I was like, and I told them, I was like, you know what? I'm thankful you told me that, because I am thankful to the Lord above that I'm not the person I used to be. So number one, I grew my faith. I grew the person that I was. I'm no longer selfish. There are some selfish things that obviously like people deal with. I'm helping, getting over that, but it'll be fine. So I'm not as selfish as I once was. I give more, I tithe, I do all these things that I never even once like even knew about, or, I never even questioned myself about doing. And then I get to help other people. And that's something that has truly been a miracle. Is like, I have people come to me every day on my team that's like, couldn't get out of bed this morning, but because, I talked to you, or because I listened to this, or, because of this business, or the people that I've met in here, I got up this morning. And that's something that means more to me. So maybe you aren't where you want to be in this season, but don't give up, because I can be one of those people. And I told Cammie, and I tell Morgan and everybody all the time, I'm going to be that one person that's on stage that's going to be like, hey, y'all never knew me the first 5 years, but now you're going to hear from me on every single stage, every single Zoom. You're going to hear from me on calls and see that I never gave up. And that's going to be a story that's going to help someone, because there are people that have probably been in this business longer than me and have never either promoted past Ruby or promoted past Diamond, and they're so close to giving up. but I'll be that person that stands on stage and says, hey, don't give up, and it's going to give someone hope, and it's going to save them from either foreclosure, it's going to save them from being in more debt, or save them from having to give their baby away, or whatever the circumstance is. And so you have to know that it's going to be selfish of you if you quit on yourself too early, because times get tough. And if you are thinking about quitting, or if you've ever thought about quitting, I learned this from another top leader, is don't give up when it's hard. Give up when it's easy. And that's kind of why, like, the timing was perfect when I left my magazine job. It was when I was going through a really hard time and I was battling. I was like, man, should I quit? Should I not quit? And Kelsey Thornton, y'all might know her, but she was like, don't give up when it's hard, because you're going to be upset with yourself when you walk away, because you now are going to carry that on to the next thing that you do. So when something gets hard with the next job that you have, you're just going to give up then. Instead, when you're rising to the top and you're still not happy, then you can kind of talk back to about quitting or whatever. And, you know, we'll bless people in and out of this business all day. Like, if you find it's not for you, okay, but don't give up just because times are hard. And I think people do that so many times because it's easy to quit. That's the easy way out. But in reality, it's not, because you look back, we've had girls on this team join back more than I've ever seen in the past 5 years, because they've realized what they either missed out on, or maybe the timing wasn't right before, and they're like diamonds and double diamonds and going triple, and like, it's just, I don't know. So I always hope that I can be of light to someone, because you do get stuck on the people who are millionaires, or that are presidentials, or, you know, making so much money, and I'm blessed to where I'm at, but I'm not stopping here. And so I just want to give you hope that this, not saying I'm like where I want to be, but I'm thankful for where I am. This is where you can be debt free at 24. And I started my retirement early, and, you know, I won't have to walk in my parents' footsteps like they created for me. You know, my dad took all the college savings that we had, and so we didn't have anything like that. So I was in debt before I even started. So it's just crazy to think that the growth that's happened. Just don't give up on yourself, because you deserve way more than that. And people who are watching you deserve way more than that too. So hopefully that's kind of the last tip, because I can't stand when people give up on themselves too quickly. There's been so many times where I've been upset, but it has never crossed my mind like, man, I should just quit. That's never been my issue. It's kind of more of like what can I learn from this situation, and who can I help next from this? And so kind of have to take it with that angle of things. So hopefully
Yeah,
that.
I seriously love that so much. Like, that was such a good, like, last minute tip, because I mean, everything you said was just so spot on. And like, it was crazy because you were talking about the comparison thing, and I've never felt like I've had an issue with comparison. And then you were like, I've been in this business 5 years, like, you should think, like, she was like, someone would say like I should be like a presidential ambassador diamond. And I was like, I have literally told myself from like day one, like, in 3 years you're going to be ambassador. And like, my 3 years is in October and I'm not ambassador. And I was like, that's weird. I was like, that's crazy, because like, I'm thinking about it and I'm like, maybe there is a little comparison thing we gotta work out here. But that was just like such a good answer, and I loved everything that you said. And just like, especially like the don't give up when it's hard, like give up when it's easy, because like, it is so easy to throw in the towel when it gets hard. Like, I'm gonna be the first to say it is so easy to do, but like, it's definitely a lot harder to give up when like your business is booming and you're having the ton of fun, you know? And like, I just love that so much. I can't even talk. But if no one else has any more questions for her, we can go ahead and hop off. But Macy, this was seriously so good. Thank you so much for doing this for us tonight. I literally took like 2 pages of notes for everything you said. Yeah, I just really love this. So I'm going to go ahead and stop.